Cut the lights, cut the comms, let them scream into dead air. Owen Dunn speaks into his radio from the tree line 200 meters outside the perimeter fence. His voice carries no emotion, no hesitation. Behind him, 11 men in black tactical gear check their weapons one final time. The coastal wind carries salt and the promise of violence. Dunn checks his watch. 21:47. 13 minutes until the guard rotation leaves the east gate, with only 2 sentries. 13 minutes until a military installation housing 300 personnel becomes blind, deaf, and defenseless. He pulls a photograph from his chest pocket. A young man, early 20s, bruised face, hands bound. His brother. Taken 6 days ago by people who do not negotiate. People who want one thing. A hard drive currently sitting in a secure room inside that base. Dunn folds the photograph and tucks it away. He has killed before. Contractors do. But tonight is different. Tonight, he kills Americans to save the only family he has left. He says, using his old call sign. Breach in 13 mics. No witnesses to the objective. Everyone else is collateral we avoid if possible. A voice crackles back. And if not possible? Dunn stares at the base lights flickering in the distance. Then we do what we came to do. Inside the base, none of this matters yet. Inside the base, a woman named Claire Bennett walks through the main gate with a visitor badge clipped to her blouse. And the only battle she expects tonight is the one with her husband. The Marine at the checkpoint smiles and waves her through. Enjoy family day, ma'am. Your husband's a lucky man. Claire manages a thin smile but says nothing. Lucky is not the word she would use. Ethan Bennett has been deployed, reassigned, or unavailable for 11 of their 14 months of marriage. She drove 4 hours to have a conversation that has been postponed 6 times. A conversation about whether this marriage is worth saving. The base sprawls before her in the amber glow of sodium lights. Barracks to the left, motor pool straight ahead. The helicopter landing pad sits dark against the ocean, waves crashing somewhere beyond the fence. She spots Ethan waiting near the recreation building, his silhouette rigid, even at rest. He waves. She does not wave back. They meet in the middle of the pathway, and Ethan reaches for her hands. She lets him take them, but does not squeeze. Claire, I'm glad you came. You said we needed to talk, so let's talk. Ethan's jaw tightens. He glances around at the other families milling about, children chasing each other, wives laughing with their husbands. Not here. I reserved the conference room in Building 7. It's private. Claire follows him without comment. Her eyes move across the base the way they always have, cataloging entry points, sight lines, defensive positions, old habits, useless habits. She left that life behind 3 years ago, and she has no intention of going back. They pass the communications building just as a private jogs out, nearly colliding with them. He mutters an apology and keeps moving. Claire watches him go. His boots are unlaced. His weapon is not secured properly. Details that should not matter to a civilian wife. She forces her attention back to Ethan. What's so important that you couldn't say it over the phone? He does not answer. They walk in silence. Building 7 sits at the edge of the administrative sector, a squat concrete structure with barred windows. Ethan holds the door for her, and she steps into a fluorescent-lit hallway that smells of floor wax and stale coffee. The conference room is small, a rectangular table, 8 chairs, a whiteboard covered in scheduling notes. Claire takes a seat and waits. Ethan closes the door. He stands there for a moment, his back to her, one hand pressed against the frame. I've been lying to you. Claire's expression does not change. About what? He turns. His face is older than she remembers, the lines deeper, the shadows darker. About what I do here. About why I can't come home. Before she can respond, the lights go out. Not a flicker, not a brownout. Complete darkness, instant and absolute, as if someone reached into the sky and snuffed out the stars. Claire is on her feet before she registers moving. Her hand finds the wall. Her breathing slows automatically, counting 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. Ethan, what is this? His voice comes from near the door, tight with confusion. I don't know. Generator should have kicked in by now. A sound reaches them from outside. Low, percussive, wrong. Not thunder, not a vehicle backfire, an explosion. The building shudders. Dust falls from the ceiling tiles. Claire moves to the window and peers through the bars. Orange light blooms near the communications tower half a kilometer away. Smoke rises black against the darker sky. "That's the comm station," Ethan says beside her. He has his sidearm drawn. "Claire, stay here. I need to—" A second explosion cuts him off. This one is closer. The helicopter pad. She can see figures moving in the firelight now, tactical formations, covering angles. "That's not a malfunction," Claire says. Her voice is flat, controlled. "That's a coordinated assault." Ethan stares at her. For one moment, something flickers across his face. A question he does not ask. The base sirens finally scream to life, a wailing that echoes off every building and drowns out everything else. Ethan grabs her arm and pulls her toward the door. "We need to get to the shelter point, now." They run. The base has transformed in the 90 seconds since the lights died. Personnel sprint in every direction. Some are armed, most are not. An officer shouts orders that no one can hear over the sirens. A young Marine stumbles past with blood running from his forehead. Ethan pulls Claire behind a concrete barrier as gunfire erupts somewhere to the east. Muzzle flashes strobe between the barracks. She counts the rate of fire, suppressed weapons, controlled bursts. These are not amateurs. "How many?" she asks. Ethan shakes his head. "I don't know. 10, maybe 12 based on the firing patterns." Claire's eyes move to the communications tower, still burning. Then to the main road, where a Humvee sits abandoned with its doors open. Then to the guard station at the east gate, where 2 bodies lie motionless. "They killed the sentries first," she says. "Then the comms. Then the power junction, which took out the automated security protocols." Ethan turns to look at her fully. "How do you know that?" She does not answer. Her attention has shifted to the helicopter landing pad. Dark. Undefended. If that pad falls, no reinforcements can land. A hand grabs her shoulder. She spins, and Ethan is there, his face close to hers. "Claire, how do you know that?" Before she can respond, a young Marine crashes into their position. He is barely 19, his face pale, his rifle shaking in his hands. His name tape reads, "Cole." "Gunnery Sergeant Bennett, they're everywhere. I don't know where to shoot. I can't raise anyone on comms. The captain's trapped in the command center. What do I—" "Breathe," Claire says. Cole looks at her, wild-eyed. "Who are you?" "I'm nobody, but you need to breathe or you're going to get yourself killed." The young Marine stares at her for a long moment. Then he takes a breath, then another. His hands steady, just slightly. She only came to visit her husband, but tonight everything changes. If you want to see what happens next, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support helps more than you know. Ethan pulls Cole down as another burst of gunfire rakes the barrier. Concrete chips fly. Someone screams in the distance. "We need to get to Captain Stone," Ethan says. "She's the ranking officer on base tonight. If she can't coordinate a response, we're all dead." They move. Cole takes point because he knows the fastest route. Ethan covers the rear. Claire stays in the middle, unarmed, watching everything. They reach the command center in 4 minutes that feel like 40. The building is intact but sealed, blast doors locked from the inside. Ethan pounds on the steel. "Captain Stone, it's Gunnery Sergeant Bennett. Open up!" A speaker crackles above the door. A woman's voice, calm but strained. "Bennett, I can't. The security lockdown triggered automatically when comms went down. I'm working on an override, but someone changed the access codes." Claire steps forward. "Ask her if the armory is accessible." Ethan relays the question. Stone's answer comes back tight with frustration. "Negative. Same problem. The codes have been altered. Bennett, someone on this base gave them our security protocols." The word hangs in the smoky air. Insider. Claire's mind races. Altered codes mean pre-planning. Pre-planning means intelligence. Intelligence means someone has been watching, waiting, preparing. "What do they want?" she asks, loud enough for the speaker to pick up. Silence. Then Stone's voice, harder now. "Who is that?" "My wife," Ethan says. "Your wife is asking tactical questions during a base assault." Claire ignores the suspicion. "Captain Stone, if they wanted to destroy this base, they would have hit the fuel depot first. They didn't. They hit comms and power. They want something specific. What is it?" Another silence. This one longer. Then Stone speaks, and her voice has changed. "Bennett, is your wife cleared for sensitive information?" "No, ma'am." "Then you'd better find somewhere private to explain why she's asking the right questions. I'll work on getting these doors open. You have 15 minutes before I start making decisions without you. The speaker clicks off. Ethan pulls Claire around the corner of the building, into a narrow alley between two storage units. His grip on her arm is too tight. His eyes search her face. "Who are you?" Claire meets his gaze. "I'm your wife. My wife is a physical therapist from Oregon. My wife has never held a weapon. My wife does not analyze assault patterns while under fire. Your wife also spent 6 years in the Marine Corps before she met you. Scout sniper, 3 deployments, 2 Bronze Stars, one moment that made her swear she would never pull a trigger again." Ethan releases her arm as if burned. He steps back. The confusion on his face shifts into something else. Betrayal. "You never told me. You never asked. And you never told me what you really do here." She gestures toward the smoke, the gunfire, the chaos. "So what is it, Ethan? What do they want?" He closes his eyes, opens them. The choice between loyalty and survival plays out across his features in the space of a heartbeat. A hard drive in the secure storage facility near the landing pad. It contains evidence of a supply chain corruption scheme, embezzlement, weapons trafficking, bribes paid to contractors. He swallows. "Some of it involves people on this base. I was supposed to hand it over to investigators tomorrow morning. And someone decided tomorrow morning couldn't happen." Yes. Claire looks toward the landing pad, still dark, still undefended. The assault team's trajectory suddenly makes sense. They are not here to occupy the base. They are here to retrieve and extract. If they get that drive and reach the extraction point, this all goes away. The evidence, the investigation, everything. Ethan nods. "Where's the nearest defensive position to the storage facility?" "There's an old observation tower near the mess hall. Hasn't been used in years, but Claire, you can't..." A burst of gunfire interrupts him. Closer now, moving toward them. They run. The path to the storage facility takes them through the center of the base, past burning vehicles and scattered personnel. Cole stays with them, his earlier panic replaced by grim determination. He fires twice at shadows and hits nothing, but he does not freeze. They round a corner and nearly collide with another group. Marines, 4 of them, led by a sergeant with a bloody bandage wrapped around his thigh. "Bennett, where the hell have you been? We've got hostiles pushing toward the storage sector. Captain Stone says you have orders." "Working on it." Ethan scans the group. "Sergeant, I need you to establish a perimeter around the landing pad. Reinforcements are coming, but only if that pad stays clear. With 4 men? With whatever you have. Move." The sergeant does not argue. He takes his Marines and disappears into the smoke. Claire watches them go. 4 men against an unknown number of professionals. The math does not work. Someone needs to change the equation. They reach the storage facility 3 minutes later. The building is intact, but she can hear movement inside. The assault team has beaten them here. Ethan curses under his breath. "They're already inside. We're too late." "Not necessarily." Claire studies the building's exterior. Reinforced walls, single entry point, narrow windows too small for passage but large enough for ventilation, and the observation tower rising 30 feet above them, its upper platform overlooking everything. "How many in your assault team?" she asks. Ethan frowns. "It's not the one attacking us. How many did you count?" 10, maybe 12. "And how many have you seen in the last 10 minutes? He pauses, thinks. 4, maybe 5. "So, where are the others?" The question hangs between them. Then understanding dawns on his face. "The landing pad. They're securing the extraction point." Claire nods. "They have the drive, or they're about to. They'll move to extract as soon as it's in hand. If we can pin down the ones at the storage facility and deny them the pad, they're trapped." "We don't have the firepower." "You don't." She holds out her hand. "Give me your sidearm." Ethan hesitates. The sirens wail around them. Smoke drifts across the moon. In the distance, another burst of gunfire. "Claire, you asked who I am? I'm the person who can keep that drive from leaving this base. But I need a weapon, and I need that tower." "You said you'd never..." "I know what I said." Her voice does not waver. "And I know what happens if they win. Give me the weapon, Ethan." He looks at her for a long moment. Then he reaches to his thigh holster and draws his sidearm. He checks the magazine, chambers around, and places it in her hand. The tower doesn't have line of sight to the storage entrance. "You'd need..." "I'm not going to the tower." She tucks the sidearm into her waistband. "I'm going to find something better. Stay here. Keep Cole alive. And when the shooting starts, stay down." She moves before he can argue. What would you do if you had to break a promise to save someone you love? Comment below. And stick with us, because Claire is about to show everyone what she really is. Claire circles the building, staying low, using shadow and smoke as cover. Her body remembers this, the angles, the timing, the rhythm of movement that keeps you alive in hostile territory. She hates that she remembers. She hates more that she needs it. The observation tower stands 40 meters to her left. Ethan was right. Its sight lines are wrong for the storage entrance. But the mess hall roof, 20 meters to her right, offers a clear view of both the facility and the landing pad beyond. She climbs. The service ladder on the building's east side is rusted but sturdy. She reaches the roof in 90 seconds and crawls to the edge. From here, she can see everything. The storage facility sits below her, its single door now breached. 2 figures stand outside, weapons raised, watching for threats. Professional posture, proper spacing. These are not street criminals. Beyond them, the landing pad. 4 more figures have taken positions around the perimeter, creating a defensive ring. One of them is setting up what looks like a flare launcher, signaling for extraction. And between the 2 positions, moving in the shadows, more shapes. The rest of the assault team, coordinating through hand signals. Claire counts. 11 total, 1 missing. She spots him near the communications tower wreckage. Alone, watching. A radio pressed to his ear, giving orders. Kite. She recognizes command presence when she sees it. He moves differently than the others. Economical, controlled, constantly scanning. Not a follower. The one who planned this. She studies the battlefield. Her sidearm holds 15 rounds. 15 rounds against 11 professional operators. The math still does not work, but she does not need to kill them. She needs to stop them. The flare launcher. If she can disable the extraction signal, reinforcements will arrive before they can call another pickup. The landing pad defenders will be caught between responding Marines and no exit. She settles into position. The mess hall roof is flat, with ventilation units providing cover. She braces her arm against an exhaust pipe and sights down the barrel. The distance is 50 meters. Too far for precision with a handgun. She needs to get closer. She moves. The next building is a supply depot connected to the mess hall by a covered walkway. She crosses the walkway at a crouch, then climbs the depot's exterior to its roof. 35 meters now. Better. Still not good. She needs a rifle. Below her, one of the landing pad guards shifts position. He carries an AR platform, suppressed, with an optic she cannot identify from this distance. If she could get that weapon, she stops herself. That would require engaging directly, exposing her position, drawing fire toward herself when she has no backup, no extraction plan, no margin for error. 3 years ago, she would have done it without thinking. 3 years ago, she was a different person. The guard moves again. He walks toward the supply depot, probably checking for threats. His route will bring him directly beneath her position. Claire weighs her options. 1 guard, eliminated quietly, means 1 rifle, means capability against the others. But the sound of even a suppressed shot will alert his team. She will have seconds before they respond. The guard reaches the corner of the building. He pauses, adjusts his grip, scans the area. Claire makes her decision. She drops. The fall is controlled, landing behind him with her weight distributed to minimize sound. He starts to turn. She moves faster. Her forearm locks around his throat. Not a chokehold, a blood restriction, cutting off circulation to the brain. He struggles, but she has leverage, and she has training, and in 8 seconds his body goes limp. She lowers him to the ground. He is unconscious, not dead. She checks his pulse to confirm, then takes his rifle. The weapon is familiar in her hands. Too familiar. She checks the magazine, verifies the chamber, adjusts the optic. N.A. Keeg. 4-power magnification. More than enough. She climbs back to the roof. The landing pad is 40 meters away now. The flare launcher operator is still preparing his equipment. The other guards have not noticed their missing man. She has maybe 60 seconds before someone goes looking. Claire settles into position. The rifle stock presses against her shoulder like an old friend she hoped never to see again. Her breathing slows. Her heartbeat steadies. 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count out. The flare operator moves into her sight picture. She tracks him, leading slightly to compensate for any sudden movement. Finger on the trigger guard, not the trigger, not yet. In her peripheral vision, she sees movement near the storage facility. Two figures emerge, one of them carrying a small metal case. The hard drive. They are moving toward the landing pad. Toward extraction. Toward escape. 60 seconds just became 30. Claire shifts her aim. The flare launcher is still the priority. Without extraction, they are trapped. Without escape, the evidence stays on base. She fires. The round takes the flare launcher dead center, shattering the firing mechanism into useless scrap. The operator throws himself flat, screaming something into his radio. The other guards spin toward her position. Muzzle flashes light up the night as they return fire. Bullets crack past her head, punch through the ventilation units, shower her with debris. She rolls, finds new cover behind a rooftop access door. The rifle bucks against her shoulder as she returns fire, not to kill, to suppress, to buy time. Below, she can hear shouting. The assault team is regrouping, trying to identify her position, trying to understand how their extraction just fell apart. And in the chaos, she hears something else. Helicopters. Distant, but approaching. The reinforcements Captain Stone must have signaled with manual flares. The assault team hears them too. Their fire becomes more frantic. The man with the hard drive breaks into a run, heading not toward the landing pad but toward the perimeter fence. Alternate extraction, probably a vehicle waiting on the access road. Claire tracks him through the optic. Center mass, easy shot, clean solution. Her finger moves to the trigger and stops. The man is running, not fighting, not threatening, running, with his back to her, toward a fence he will never reach in time. She could kill him, end this, ensure the evidence never leaves. But she made a promise. 3 years ago, holding a rifle just like this one, looking through a scope just like this one, she made a promise. Never again. She shifts her aim, the ground in front of the runner. She fires twice, kicking up dirt and concrete chips. He stumbles, changes direction, runs straight into two Marines who have emerged from behind the motor pool. They take him down hard. The hard drive case skids across the pavement, coming to rest against a sandbag barrier. More Marines appear. The helicopter sound grows louder. The remaining assault team members realize they are surrounded. One by one, they throw down their weapons. All except one. Claire spots him near the storage facility. Kite. He has not dropped his weapon. He has not raised his hands. He stands alone in the open, his rifle pointed at the ground, watching the chaos unfold. Then he looks up, directly at the supply depot roof. Directly at her, their eyes meet across 40 meters of smoke and fire. He cannot see her face clearly, but he knows someone is there. Someone who just dismantled his entire operation with a rifle in a rooftop. He raises one hand, not in surrender, in acknowledgement. Then he turns and walks toward the perimeter fence. Not running, walking, as if he has all the time in the world. Two Marines move to intercept. He does not speed up. Claire watches through the optic. Something is wrong. He is too calm, too controlled. He knows something they do not. She sees it a second before it happens. The explosives on the fence. Small charges, hidden in the support posts, placed during the assault. Kite reaches into his pocket and pulls out a detonator. "Get down!" Claire screams, but the distance swallows her voice. The fence explodes outward, knocking the two Marines off their feet. Kite walks through the gap, disappearing into the darkness beyond. Claire is already moving, down the ladder, across the courtyard, toward the breach in the fence. She hears Ethan calling her name. She does not stop. The darkness beyond the fence is absolute. No lights, no moon, just the sound of waves crashing against rocks somewhere below. The base sits on a cliff, she remembers. A cliff with a narrow path leading down to a cove. She follows the path by instinct, rifle raised, finger on the trigger guard. The sound of a boat engine reaches her ears. He has transport waiting. She rounds a bend and finds him. Kite stands at the edge of the cliff, a rigid-hulled inflatable boat bobbing in the water below. A rope ladder hangs over the edge. One of his men is already in the boat, hand extended. He turns at the sound of her footsteps. His rifle comes up. They face each other across 10 meters of rocky ground. Two weapons, two shooters, one wrong move for mutual destruction. "You're good," he says. His voice carries no malice, only professional respect. "Better than anyone they have on that base. Who trained you?" Claire does not answer. Her breathing is steady, her aim is true. "It doesn't matter," Kite continues. "The drive is secured. My men are captured, but they don't know anything useful. And I will be gone in 30 seconds. Then why are you still talking?" He tilts his head slightly, studying her. Because I want to know why you didn't kill me. You had the shot, multiple times. You chose not to take it. I don't kill people who are running away. Even people who just attacked your husband's base, who almost got dozens of Americans killed. He shakes his head slowly. You're not a soldier anymore, are you? You're something else. The boat engine revs below. His time is running out. There are names on that drive, he says. People who should face justice. But there are also names of people who will never see a courtroom. People who will disappear into black sites and bureaucratic silence. He pauses. My brother is one of them. Taken because I refused to do a job like this one. Held as leverage until I cooperated. Claire's aim does not waver. That's not my problem. No, it's not. He lowers his rifle slowly, deliberately, and slings it across his back. But I'm telling you anyway, because someone who chooses not to kill deserves to know what they're fighting for. He takes a step toward the ladder. Stop. He stops, turns his head. Your brother, Claire says. What's his name? Why? Because if there's a way to help him that doesn't involve attacking American military installations, maybe someone should look into it. Kite is silent for a long moment. The waves crash below. The helicopter sounds grow louder behind her. His name is Marcus Dunn, 24 years old, held by a group calling themselves the Meridian Syndicate. They operate out of... A shot cracks through the night, not from Claire's rifle, from behind her. Kite staggers. His hand goes to his side, comes away dark. He looks past Claire, toward whoever fired, then back at her. Find him, he says. Please. He falls backward off the cliff. Claire rushes to the edge. The boat is already pulling away, Kite's man hauling his wounded leader aboard. In seconds, they vanish into the darkness. She turns. Ethan stands 20 meters up the path, his backup weapon still raised, smoke drifting from the barrel. Are you okay? He asks. Claire does not answer. She stares at the empty water where the boat disappeared. Claire, are you okay? She lowers her rifle. Yeah, I'm fine. They walk back to the base in silence. The fires are being contained. The captured assault team members are being secured. The hard drive is being rushed to a secure location. Captain Stone meets them at the perimeter. Her eyes move from Ethan to Claire to the rifle in Claire's hands. Gunnery Sergeant Bennett, would you care to explain why your wife just single-handedly neutralized an extraction attempt? Ethan opens his mouth. Claire speaks first. I'm former Marine Corps captain, scout sniper. I left the service 3 years ago for personal reasons. My husband didn't know until tonight. Stone's expression flickers. Surprise, then something else. Respect, maybe, or calculation. We'll need a full debrief, both of you. Understood. Stone turns to leave, then pauses. Bennett, your wife. She wounded several hostiles but killed none, even when she had clear shots. Is that a choice or a limitation? Claire meets her gaze. It's a promise I made. Stone considers this. Then she nods slowly. A promise. I can understand that. She walks away. The base slowly returns to order. Medics tend to the wounded. Engineers begin assessing the damage. Marines secure the perimeter and count their losses. Claire stands near the helicopter pad, watching the first medevac bird lift off. Her hands are steady. Her breathing is calm. Inside, something she thought she had buried is stirring again. Ethan approaches. His arm is in a makeshift sling now. She did not notice him getting injured. More things they did not tell each other. Claire, not now. We need to talk about... I said not now. She does not raise her voice. She does not have to. We'll talk when this is over, when the debrief is done and the dead are counted and someone figures out how an assault team knew exactly where to hit. He is quiet for a moment. Then, there's a mole on this base. Someone who gave them everything. I know. They'll want to find out who. I know that too. She turns to look at him fully, her husband of 14 months, a stranger in so many ways. I'm going to find out who, she says. And when I do, I'm going to make sure they face every consequence their actions deserve. No shortcuts, no disappearances, justice. Ethan searches her face. Whatever he is looking for, he seems to find it. Okay, he says. Then let's do this together. Claire does not smile, but something in her posture shifts. An acknowledgement. A beginning. The helicopter disappears over the horizon. The fires die down. the night grows quiet. But inside the hard drive secured in a Marine captain's possession, there are names. And behind those names, there are secrets. And behind those secrets, there is a young man named Marcus Dunn being held by people who do not believe in mercy. Claire looks out at the ocean where Kite vanished. She made a promise never to kill again. She kept it tonight, but she made no promise about hunting down the truth. If this story pulled you in, share it with someone who needs to see justice prevail. And don't go anywhere, because what happens next will change everything. She turns and walks toward the command center. There is a debrief to attend, questions to answer, and somewhere in the chaos of this night, a thread that will lead her exactly where she needs to go. The game is just beginning. Claire moves through the smoke with the rifle pressed against her shoulder. The old observation tower rises ahead of her, a forgotten structure near the mess hall that has not been used in years. Its height offers what she needs, a clear line of sight to both the storage facility and the helicopter landing pad. She reaches the base of the tower and tests the ladder. Rusted but functional, she climbs. The platform at the top is small, barely enough room for 2 people. Decades of salt air have weathered the metal railing, but the view is exactly what she hoped for. Below and to the left, the storage facility sits with its door breached. 2 figures stand guard outside, weapons sweeping the perimeter, professional stance, controlled movements. Beyond them, the landing pad. 4 more hostiles have established defensive positions around its edge. One of them is assembling what looks like a flare launcher, extraction signal. And between the 2 positions, moving in coordinated patterns, more shapes. The assault team working as a unit. Claire counts, 11 total, 1 missing. She finds him near the wreckage of the communications tower, standing apart from the others, radio to his ear, giving orders, Kite. She recognizes command presence when she sees it. He moves with economy and purpose, constantly scanning, never still, not a follower. The architect of tonight's chaos. Claire settles into position. The tower platform has no bench rest, no sandbags, nothing to stabilize a shot. She improvises. A length of cargo strap hangs from a broken equipment mount. She loops it around her forearm, creating tension, then braces her elbow against the rusted railing. The rifle's optic is damaged, the reticle slightly off-center, but she has compensated for worse. The broken headlight of an abandoned vehicle near the mess hall provides her reference point. She calculates distance based on its known size, 45 meters to the first target, 50 to the second, 60 to the third. Wind from the ocean carries salt and smoke. She watches the dust patterns on the ground below, reading the gusts. 3 to 5 knots, left to right. 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count out. Her heartbeat slows. The chaos below fades to background noise. There is only the rifle, the targets, and the space between. The first target is the man assembling the flare launcher. Without extraction signal, the assault team is trapped. She places her crosshair center mass, adjusts for wind, and shifts aim to his hands. She fires. The round strikes the launcher mechanism, shattering it into useless components. The operator throws himself flat, screaming into his radio. Before he hits the ground, Claire has already shifted to target 2. A hostile approaching the storage facility door, carrying a compact explosive charge. He is 3 steps from planting it when her second shot takes him in the thigh. He drops. The charge skids harmlessly across the concrete. Target 3. A man on the landing pad perimeter who has identified her muzzle flash and is raising his weapon toward the tower. Her third shot catches his shoulder, spinning him away from his firing position. 3 shots. 3 targets neutralized, none dead. The assault team's formation shatters. Coordinated movement becomes scattered retreat as they scramble for cover, trying to identify the threat that just dismantled their operation in 4 seconds. Below the tower, Claire hears shouting, friendly voices, Marines responding to the sudden shift in momentum, and then another voice, younger, filled with disbelief. Jaden Cole stands at the base of the observation tower, his rifle hanging loose in his hands, his face turned upward toward her position. The moonlight catches his expression, pure shock. Who are you? Claire keeps her eye on the scope, scanning for additional threats. Her answer comes flat, matter of fact. A wife who wants her husband to live. Jaden stares for another moment. Then something hardens in his young face. He raises his weapon and moves to join the Marines pushing toward the storage facility. From the command center, a light begins to flash. Short bursts, long bursts, short again. Morse code. Captain Stone, trapped inside but not helpless, signaling with a handheld flashlight through the reinforced window. Claire reads the pattern. Reinforcements inbound, 15 mics, 15 minutes. The assault team has 15 minutes to complete their mission or be caught between arriving helicopters and a reorganized defense. They know it too. The scattered hostiles begin consolidating near the storage facility, abandoning the landing pad positions. Their extraction plan is dead. Now they are fighting for survival. And for the hard drive. Claire watches two figures emerge from the storage building. One carries a small metal case. The evidence Ethan was supposed to deliver tomorrow. The evidence someone was willing to kill to suppress. They move toward the perimeter fence, toward a secondary extraction point. A vehicle waiting on the access road, perhaps. Or a boat in the cove below the cliffs. Claire tracks them through the scope. Center mass on the man with the case. Easy shot. Clean solution. Her finger moves to the trigger and stops. He is running, not fighting, not threatening. Running with his back to her, focused only on escape. 3 years ago, on a rooftop in a city she cannot name, she made that shot. A figure running, carrying something that looked like a weapon. She took the shot because she had authorization. Because her spotter said target confirmed. Because following orders was easier than asking questions. It was not a weapon. It was a camera. He was 17 years old. Claire exhales slowly, shifts her aim. The ground in front of the running man. She fires twice. Dirt and concrete chips explode at his feet. He stumbles, changes direction, runs directly into 3 Marines who have flanked around the motor pool. They take him down. The metal case bounces across the pavement and comes to rest against a sandbag barrier. One of the Marines secures it immediately. The hard drive is safe, but the fight is not over. Near the storage facility, the remaining assault team members have taken a defensive position. They are cornered, outnumbered, and running out of time. Desperate men with nothing to lose. And in the center of their formation, Claire spots him. Kite. He has grabbed a young Marine during the chaos. Private first class, barely out of training, now held as a human shield with Kite's arm locked around his throat and a pistol pressed to his temple. The Marines surrounding the position freeze. Weapons raised but useless. One wrong move, and the hostage dies. Claire shifts her position on the tower platform, seeking an angle. There is none. Kite has placed himself perfectly, using the building's corner as additional cover. Only his arm and part of his shoulder are visible. A shot she could make, but not without risk, not without the possibility of hitting the hostage. She reaches for the radio clipped to her vest, the one Ethan gave her before she climbed the tower. She switches to the open frequency that both sides can hear. Kite! Her voice echoes across the compound through the radio speakers. The assault team members look around, trying to identify the source. Kite, I know you can hear me. Movement near the storage building. Kite's head turns slightly, seeking the speaker. You did not come here to die, and you did not come here to kill Americans. I watched your team. Suppressed weapons, controlled fire. You avoided casualties when you could have caused dozens. Silence. The Marines hold their positions. The hostage whimpers. You came here for something specific, something worth risking everything, something worth betraying the country you once served. Kite's voice comes back through his own radio, broadcast on the same frequency. Calm despite the chaos, professional to the end. You know nothing about what I served. I know you were a contractor, private military, the kind of work that pays well and costs more than money. Claire keeps her voice steady. I know you planned this operation with precision and discipline, and I know that somewhere, someone is holding something over you, something that made tonight feel like the only option. The compound goes quiet. Even the wind seems to pause. What do you want? Kite asks. I want to know why, not for the report, not for the investigation, for me. She pauses. Because 3 years ago, I was where you are now, following orders that felt like the only choice. Doing things I told myself were necessary. And it cost me everything I believed in. A long moment passes, then Kite laughs, a short, bitter sound. You want my confession? Fine. My brother, Marcus, 24 years old, taken 6 days ago by people who do not negotiate. They call themselves the Meridian Syndicate, and they have him in a location I cannot reach. The price for his life is the hard drive your husband was protecting. Claire processes this. A brother, leverage, the oldest manipulation in the world. And if you delivered the drive, they would release him? They said they would. I know better than to believe them, but what choice did I have? His voice cracks slightly. He is the only family I have left. I would burn down the entire military to save him. I almost did. The hostage shivers in his grip. Kite's arm tightens reflexively. You have the drive now, Claire says. Your team recovered it before my shot stopped the extraction, which means you have a choice to make. What choice? Your Marines have us surrounded. Helicopters are coming. It is over. The drive is secured. Your men are captured. But you are still holding a weapon to an innocent man's head. That is a line you have not crossed yet. Claire lets the word settle. Cross it, and everything you did tonight becomes murder. Do not cross it, and maybe there is another way to save your brother. Kite is silent. The seconds stretch. I used to believe that too, he says finally. That there was always another way. That the system worked. That justice existed for people like us. His voice hardens. Then I watched that system protect the corrupt and abandon the loyal. I watched men I served with disappear into black sites for asking the wrong questions. I watched my brother get taken because I refused to kill a journalist who was getting too close to the truth. Claire closes her eyes briefly. A journalist. Too close to the truth. The parallel is not lost on her. I also followed orders once, she says quietly. I also believed the system. And then I killed a 17-year-old boy with a camera because my spotter said he was carrying an RPG. Because I trusted the intelligence. Because I did not ask questions. She opens her eyes. Through the scope, she can see Kite's posture shift slightly, listening. That boy's name was Amir. He wanted to document the war so the world would understand what was happening to his people. He was brave enough to run toward danger with nothing but a lens. And I ended his life because I was a weapon, not a person. Her voice does not waver, but something in her chest tightens. I cannot bring him back. I cannot undo what I did. But I can choose every day to be more than what they made me, to ask questions, to see the human being in my crosshairs, not just the target. She takes a breath. You have a human being in your arms right now, a kid who joined the Marines because he believed in something, a kid who has a family waiting for him to come home. Whatever the syndicate promised you, whatever they threatened, killing him will not save your brother. It will only make you into the monster they need you to be. The compound remains frozen. Marines with weapons raised, assault team members calculating odds. And in the center, Kite, holding a young man's life in his hands. Then, slowly, Kite's arm loosens. The pistol lowers. He releases the hostage, who stumbles forward into the arms of waiting Marines. For a moment, Kite stands alone, unarmed, surrounded by enemies. I am sorry, he says, to the hostage, to the Marines, perhaps to himself. I am sorry. 2 Marines move forward to secure him. He does not resist. They force him to his knees, hands behind his head, and one of them kicks his legs apart for a search. Claire watches through the scope. Then she lowers the rifle and begins climbing down from the tower. By the time she reaches ground level, the situation has stabilized. The assault team is in custody. Medical personnel are treating the wounded, both friendly and hostile. The perimeter is secured. She finds Kite on his knees near the storage building, hands zip-tied behind his back. A Marine stands guard, weapon ready. Claire approaches. The guard looks uncertain but does not stop her. She kneels in front of Kite. His face is pale, exhausted, streaked with sweat and grime, but his eyes are clear. The Meridian Syndicate, she says. Tell me everything you know, names, locations, methods, everything. Why would I do that? Because it is the only chance your brother has. She holds his gaze. The drive is secure. It is going to people who cannot be bought. When that evidence becomes public, the syndicate loses its leverage. They will be too busy protecting themselves to hold on to one hostage. Or they will kill him to eliminate a loose end. Maybe. But if you give us enough information, maybe we find him first. Maybe we give them a reason to negotiate instead of execute. Kite stares at her for a long moment. Then something in him breaks. Not dramatically, just a quiet collapse of resistance. His name is Marcus Dunn, 24, taken from his apartment in San Diego 6 days ago. They sent me a video, proof of life. He was being held in what looked like a warehouse, industrial, somewhere cold, based on his breath. Claire commits every detail to memory. The syndicate operates through cutouts. I never met anyone senior directly, but the man who gave me this mission called himself Carrion. He had a distinctive voice, raspy, like he had been breathing smoke for decades. Where did you meet him? A shipping container at the port of Long Beach. He gave me the target package there, blueprints of this base, security codes, patrol schedules. Kite's jaw tightens. Someone inside your military sold everything. Carrion had details that only an insider could provide. Claire nods slowly. Insider, the word Stone used earlier. Someone on this base betrayed their own. Anything else? The extraction. We were supposed to deliver the drive to a boat waiting in the cove below the cliffs. From there, a cargo ship called the Meridian Star would take it to international waters. The ship is registered in Panama, but operates out of... A cough interrupts him, then another. He doubles over, and Claire sees the blood on his lips. She looks down. His tactical vest is dark and wet on the left side, a wound she did not notice before. One of the Marines must have hit him during the firefight. "Medic!" she shouts. "I need a medic here now." A corpsman rushes over, already pulling supplies from his bag. He cuts away Kite's vest and exposes the wound. Entry point just below the ribs. Bad placement. "He needs surgery," the corpsman says. "I can stabilize, but he needs to get to a hospital." Claire looks at Kite. His eyes are losing focus. "Stay with me," she says. "You have not finished telling me about Carrion, about the ship, about your brother." Kite tries to speak. Blood bubbles at his lips. Tower 4. What? Tower 4. Sends regards. That is what Carrion said. When this is done, Tower 4 sends regards. His eyes close. The corpsman works frantically, packing the wound, calling for a stretcher. Claire steps back, her mind racing. Tower 4. A code phrase. A location. A person. Another piece of a puzzle she cannot yet see. The sound of helicopters fills the air. Reinforcements, finally. Searchlights sweep across the compound as the first bird descends toward the landing pad. Claire watches it land. Marines pour out, weapons ready, flooding the base with fresh personnel. The night's chaos is ending, but the questions are just beginning. If you believe justice should be patient, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and stay until the end. The truth is about to surface. 2 hours later, Claire sits in the base infirmary, watching through a window as surgeons work on Kite. He flatlined once on the operating table. They brought him back. Whether he survives the night remains uncertain. Captain Stone finds her there. "The prisoners are being transferred to a secure facility," Stone says. "Armed escort, no advance notice. Meridian will not be able to reach them." Claire nods without looking away from the window. The hard drive has been duplicated. Copies are going to the Inspector General, NCIS Internal Affairs, and Congressional Oversight. Whoever the insider was, they cannot suppress this now. Good. Stone is quiet for a moment. Then, "He talked to you, done," before he collapsed. "He told me about his brother, about a man called Carrion, about a ship named Meridian Star." Claire finally turns to face the captain. "He said someone inside the military sold you out. Someone with access to security codes, patrol schedules, base blueprints. We know. We traced the breach to Chief Warrant Officer Henderson, Armory Chief. He disappeared during the assault." Stone's expression is grim. "We found his computer, encrypted communications with an offshore server, financial transfers totaling $200,000 over the past 8 months. Henderson, the man responsible for locking down the armory with altered codes, the man who made tonight's attack possible. Where is he now?" "Unknown. He escaped through the same breach in the fence that Dunn's team used. Coast Guard is searching, but..." She shakes her head. "The ocean is big. Another loose end, another piece of the network still free." Claire stands. "The ship, Meridian Star, if it's still in range, already being tracked. Navy assets are moving to intercept. If Henderson is on that ship, we will find him." Through the window, the surgeons continue their work. Kite's chest rises and falls with mechanical assistance. "He wanted to save his brother," Claire says quietly. "That is all he wanted, and they used that against him, made him into exactly what they needed." Stone considers this. Does that excuse what he did? No, but it explains it. Claire meets her gaze. "There is a difference between understanding evil and excusing it. I choose to understand. It makes me better at stopping it." The captain studies her for a long moment. Whatever she sees in Claire's face seems to satisfy something. "Gunnery Sergeant Bennett is waiting for you outside. I suggest you talk to him before the formal debrief begins." She pauses. "And Mrs. Bennett? What you did tonight, the Corps could use someone like you. I already gave the Corps 6 years. I gave them everything, and then I gave them up." Claire looks back at Kite through the window. "I am not that person anymore." "Are you sure?" Because the woman I saw on that tower tonight, making impossible shots and talking down armed hostiles, she looked exactly like that person to me. Claire does not answer. Stone takes the hint and leaves. The surgery continues. Claire watches until the doctors step back and the monitors stabilize. Alive, for now. She finds Ethan outside, leaning against the wall of the infirmary building. His injured arm is properly splinted now, held close to his chest. His face shows exhaustion, but his eyes are alert. Claire. Ethan. They stand in silence for a moment. The base around them hums with activity. Marines securing perimeters, engineers assessing damage, investigators beginning their work. I should have told you, she says finally, about who I was, what I did. I should have asked. I spent 14 months married to you and never wondered why you flinch at fireworks, why you always sit facing the door, why you check the exits every time we enter a room. He shakes his head. I saw the signs. I chose not to see them. Why? Because I was afraid of what they meant. Afraid that if I asked, you would tell me something I could not handle. He laughs bitterly. Turns out, you were more than I could have imagined, just not in the way I feared. Claire moves to stand beside him. They look out at the damaged base together. I killed someone, she says. 3 years ago, a boy with a camera. I thought he was a threat. I was wrong. Ethan is quiet. That is why I left. Why I swore I would never hold a rifle again. Why I married a man I barely knew and tried to become someone who had never pulled a trigger. She exhales slowly. But you cannot outrun what you are. Tonight proved that. Do you regret it? What you did tonight? She considers the question carefully. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that people were hurt. I regret that a man is lying in surgery because I was not fast enough to stop everything before it started. She pauses. But I do not regret the choice. I chose to save lives instead of taking them. Every shot I fired tonight was to disable, not to kill. That is not the person I was 3 years ago. That is the person I am choosing to become. Ethan reaches for her hand with his uninjured arm. She lets him take it. The man in there, he says. Done? He told you about his brother? Yes. You want to help him, do you? The brother. I want to help everyone caught in this. The brother. The whistleblower who sent you the drive. The Marines who died tonight because someone valued money over loyalty. She squeezes his hand. I cannot undo the past, but maybe I can shape the future. He is quiet for a moment. Then, I have been carrying secrets too. Things I never told you about this job. About what I was really investigating. I know. I wanted to protect you. Keep you separate from the ugliness. I know that too. He turns to face her fully. I thought I was the one with the dangerous job, the one keeping secrets to protect our marriage, and the whole time you were someone who could protect herself, and you, and apparently an entire military base. The ghost of a smile crosses her face. We make quite a pair. Ethan pulls her close with his good arm. She lets herself lean into him, feeling the warmth, the solidity, the presence of another human being who knows what she is and does not run. I love you, he says into her hair. I should have said it more. I should have said a lot of things. We have time. Do we? She pulls back to look at him. The investigation is just starting. There are names on that drive. People who will fight to protect themselves. This is going to get ugly before it gets clean. I know. And I am going to be part of it. Stone already asked. Unofficial capacity. No rank, no recognition. Just the chance to help finish what we started tonight. Ethan searches her face. Whatever he finds there seems to settle something in him. Then we do this together. No more secrets, no more separate lives. Whatever comes next, we face it as a team. Claire nods. Together. He kisses her forehead. She closes her eyes. When she opens them, the first light of dawn is breaking over the ocean. The night is ending. The fires are out. The wounded are being treated. The dead are being counted. And somewhere in the chaos, a hard drive containing 15 names sits under armed guard, waiting to reshape the world. An kutung, an langui duinyat mang bi mut, Ethan says softly. Claire looks at him. What? Something I was thinking. All this time, I thought I was the only one with a secret identity, the only one carrying weight I could not share. He shakes his head slowly. Turns out, we were both hiding. Both pretending, both waiting for someone to see through the mask. And now the masks are off, for better or worse. She takes his hand again. For better. They stand together as the sun rises. The base slowly returns to life around them, order emerging from chaos, purpose from destruction. Captain Stone approaches. Her uniform is rumpled, her face drawn with fatigue, but her posture remains military straight. "Mrs. Bennett, Gunnery Sergeant, I need you both in the command center. We have received intelligence that changes things." They follow her inside. The command center has been transformed into a crisis hub. Monitors display satellite imagery, communication logs, financial records. Analysts work at every station. Stone leads them to a central screen showing a map of the Pacific coast. The Meridian Star was intercepted 40 minutes ago by a Navy destroyer. Henderson was on board, along with 3 other individuals connected to the corruption network. She taps the screen, zooming in. "But that is not why I called you here." She pulls up another image, a warehouse complex, industrial, surrounded by security. This came from Dunn's phone, encrypted file we just cracked. It is the location where his brother is being held. Claire studies the image. The building matches Kite's description: cold climate, industrial setting, heavy security. Where is this? Eastern Washington, remote area near the Canadian border. Meridian uses it as a transit point for moving personnel and materials. How soon can we get a team there? Stone hesitates. That is the complication. This facility is not on any official radar. Officially, it does not exist, which means any operation to rescue Marcus Dunn would be unofficial, Claire finishes. Extremely unofficial. Off the books, deniable. Claire looks at Ethan. He looks back. "I did not survive tonight to let an innocent man die because of paperwork," she says. Stone nods slowly. "I was hoping you would say that. The Inspector General is sending a team to debrief Dunn when he wakes up. If he provides testimony against Meridian's leadership, there may be leverage to negotiate his brother's release. And if negotiation fails?" The captain does not answer. She does not need to. The morning stretches on. Debriefs and reports and the grinding machinery of military justice. Claire provides her statement. Ethan provides his. The hard drive is copied, cataloged, secured. By noon, 15 arrest warrants have been issued. By evening, 8 people are in custody, including 2 serving officers and a civilian contractor who manage supply chain logistics for the entire Pacific Fleet. The corruption runs deeper than anyone imagined, and it is only the beginning. Claire stands outside the infirmary as the sun sets. Kite is stable now, conscious, talking to investigators. His testimony will fill in gaps that the hard drive cannot explain. Names, methods, connections. A roadmap to dismantling an organization that has been bleeding the military for years. Ethan finds her there, as he has found her throughout the day. Present, steady. A partner in truth rather than pretense. "Stone just got word," he says. "The rescue team reached the warehouse in Washington. Marcus Dunn is alive. Malnourished, traumatized, but alive." Claire closes her eyes, breathes. "They found something else too. Records, communications, evidence of operations spanning 5 years and 3 continents." Ethan pauses. "This is bigger than Meridian, bigger than one corruption network. Someone very powerful has been orchestrating all of it. Do they have a name? Not yet, but they found a phrase that keeps appearing in the communications. A signature, maybe, or a code." Claire opens her eyes. "Tower 4. Ethan nods. "Tower 4 sends regards." The sun sinks below the horizon. The base settles into an uneasy quiet. The wounded heal. The dead are mourned. The living begin the slow work of rebuilding. And in a secure room somewhere on the base, a laptop screen glows with a single message. Phase 2, pending. Claire looks at the ocean. She thinks about the boy with the camera, about the promise she made and the promise she kept, about the lives saved and the lives still at risk. "Em komwun bop ka nua," she says softly. "Nyung toine em chan ku ngui." Ethan does not understand the words, but he understands the meaning. "What happens now?" he asks. Claire turns to face him. The woman who came to visit her husband. The woman who stopped an assault with 3 shots and a radio. The woman who chose mercy when vengeance would have been easier. "Now we hunt," she says. "Tower 4, Meridian, whoever is pulling the strings, we find them, we expose them. We make sure they face every consequence they have earned. And if they fight back, then I will be ready." She takes his hand. "We will be ready." The night falls. The stars emerge. Somewhere in the darkness, enemies are planning their next move, but so is Claire Bennett, and she has learned something tonight. Something she forgot in the years since she left the Corps, something the weight of guilt and the fog of pretending had buried. She is not just a weapon, she is a protector, and protectors do not rest until the people they love are safe. The screen in the command center flickers one more time before going dark. Tower 4. Status. Active. Next target. Classified timeline. Imminent. Claire does not see it, but she feels it. The weight of something larger. Something coming. She squeezes Ethan's hand. Justice is not loud, she says. It is patient. He nods. Then we will be patient too. They walk together toward the command center, toward the debrief, toward the beginning of something larger than either of them. The game is just beginning, and this time, Claire Bennett is playing to win.
Never judge people by how they look. The quiet person might be the strongest person. Comment below what were your favorite part. If you like this story, please subscribe and hit the bell. See you in the next time.